Kenya, there are two men who did one of the most unimaginable things ever. This man here is Christophe Wuma. He is currently the husband of this woman, Liliane Weta. But Christopher had initially married this woman here, Immaculate Nekiza, who dumped him in favor of this man instead, Kevin Baraza. And guess what? Kevin Baraza used to be married to Liliane Weta. Why did these men decide to exchange their wives? How was their decision received by their families? What is this culture and how has it affected its neighboring communities? We bring you one of the most amazing stories you will ever hear. It's an unbelievable story of two families which decided to exchange spouses, a rare concept known as marital exchange. What is even more shocking is the reason behind this amazing decision. You will not believe how the two families came to crush together and destroy each other in what is referred to as a journey to healing, even if the healing itself might be confusing quite a bit. When I was in Kenya, many people told me an amazing story of two men who willingly exchanged their wives. This story surprised me a lot, and I wanted to visit these families in order to meet them firsthand. That's why I took a long journey towards the eastern part of the country in a place called Busia, which is near the border with Uganda. Both families live in neighboring villages in Busia.
Nice to meet you. Yes, welcome. Na huku kuna ng'ombe? Kwa sawa.
Kwa majina naitwa Liliane Wetoto.
My name is Liliane Weta. I am the wife of Christopher Wuma. My first husband was Kevin Baraza. It all started when I noticed that Kevin was in love with another husband's wife, and he was always not committed to his responsibility to provide for our house. I was always patient and I accepted the situation, and I was acting as both the father and the mother of the family. One day, when it was around midnight, I was sleeping and I heard someone knocking on our door. When I opened up, I saw that it was Kevin, and he told me that he brought in his cousin and he wanted me to wake up and prepare some food and a place to sleep for them. The terrified Liliane went to sleep in the nearby church, hoping that she would resolve the issue with her husband amicably. The following morning, she went to her job as usual, and that afternoon, when she came back, she argued with her husband, who asked her to go and live with the husband of Immaculate if that's what she wanted.
It
was one afternoon when I went home and had some bad exchange with my husband. He then told me that if I can find the husband of that wife, I should go and live with him. I asked him thrice if he was serious, and he repeated his statement and told me to go as quick as I can. It was around 9 p.m. I didn't react until the next morning when I embarked on a journey to come here. I asked people where Christopher lived until I reached at his house, and I narrated everything that happened to me and how his wife was engaged with my husband. And I was surprised when he immediately asked me whether I would like to live together with him. I also asked him if he would accept me with my children, and he agreed, and said that let those who think they are the best live together, and let us live together as they think that we are bad.
Kwa majina naitwa Christophe Wuma.
What motivated me to divorce with my first wife was her bad behavior and her ignorance. One day I was at work and called her to go to the local shop to pick food, and that I would pay for them when I came back home later in the afternoon. She replied that I should go there myself if I wanted to. I immediately stopped working and went back home, and she was not there. The night fell and she was still not at home, and that's when I started to call her, but she never picked up the call. I waited for her till 2 a.m. I was very much worried, wondering where she might have gone. I was wondering whether she had met with some gangs, and I wished that she had informed me where she planned to go and that she would not come back. That would have saved me enormous stress I had to face. Until the next morning, she wasn't around, and I went to work. I kept calling, but she refused to reply. But finally, she replied to me. But she still refused to tell me where she was. Instead, she asked me if I was at home. I angrily told her to return where she spent her night, and she refused. I couldn't return since I would be late. I finished the job early and went home. I called her again, asking her to prepare some tea for me, and that's when she told me that she was not at home. I was surprised when I got home and noticed that she had forcibly entered my house and carried some of my possessions, including my ID card. Christopher waited for his wife in vain. His wife has taken his money and other possessions, including his national ID, and Christopher needed it to survive. After 2 weeks, he ran out of options and decided to report the matter to her parents. On the other side, Liliane was relentlessly looking for Christopher to report what his wife has done to her, and that's how they met.
Sasa ilibidi nikae wiki mbili.
After 2 weeks without any information about where she went, I went to my mother-in-law. One day, when I was coming from the job, someone called me and informed me that there was someone waiting for me at home. I felt that someone who was coming to look for me knew where my wife was. I went straight home and met her. We introduced ourselves, and she informed me that her name is Liliane Wera, and she started to recount to me what my wife has done to her. I also informed her that my wife had stolen my possessions, and I asked her whether she can agree to stay with me and become my wife, then leave my wife to stay with her husband. When Christopher met Liliane, who was looking for him, he was happy that finally he was going to know where his wife was hiding so that he could bring back his possession. But Liliane brought heartbreaking news, as she informed Christopher that her husband, Kevin Barraza, had helped Immaculate to escape. The issue has been way too big for Christopher to handle, and that's when he decided to report the matter to the police, which looked for her and found her. She was instructed to bring back all the possessions she had taken from Christopher's family, and she complied.
Amemchukua huyu mwanamke, amempeleka kwa dada yake ambaye
We came to learn he had carried her to hide at his sister's house. It was confirmed that she would come to the police station with my possession. They called me and I went to meet her, and she gave me my possession she had stole from me. I told my mother-in-law that I was separating with her daughter. She would go and live with the man she had befriended, and I would stay with this woman who used to live with her current husband. They all laughed at my suggestion. That's when his wife came in to live with me, and she brought in all her children, and they all live with my own children here. I do everything in my power to raise this family of 7 children. After learning that this couple is having the best time of their lives despite their somewhat difficult past, we went over and visited the other family. They told us that their life has been well and that they enjoyed life to the maximum up until now. Surprisingly, they don't have any problems with their previous spouses who formed their own family.
Kwa majina mimi Kevin Barraza.
My name is Kevin Barraza. I loved this woman when I already had a wife. We fell in love and agreed to live together in order to start a new life. But I had informed her that I already had a wife, but my first wife was not informed about it yet. When she saw that I had brought in a second wife, she decided to leave me and went to marry another man. I came to know that she went to marry the man who had initially married my current wife. It was not a problem to me. They have to live in their peace, and I had to stay in our peace. On the side of Immaculate, she was not happy with her husband's behavior, and that's why she wanted to divorce him and marry his current Kevin Barraza. My name is Immaculate Nikeza. What caused me to leave that house and to come and live here is that my former husband had very bad behavior, and I chose to leave him. The husband I live with now had told me that he has a wife, and I informed him that I had married myself but divorced. I loved Kevin because of his handsomeness and his speaking style. He is romantic and he has good activities. When I arrived at home, I saw the other wife, but she did escape me and left. She chose to stay where she went and I stayed here. Since then, I have lived peacefully with my husband and I have never noticed any notable problems with him. Even when I heard that his former wife had gone to live with my former husband, I felt no problem at all because it was their choice. Even if she chooses to come back and live with him again, I would not feel offended as long as she has chosen it herself. Both families are happy with the choices that they have made, and they're enjoying their life with their current partners. No one regretting their decision to divorce their previous partners.
Sikusikia ubaya wote.
The fact that she lives with my former husband, I don't have any problem with that at all. I can't cause them any trouble, and I have never gone to where they live. I don't know how they live, and I don't even wish to know it. I wish them peace and prosperity.
Wapia waendelee huko. Hakuna vita. Sasa vita ya nini na kila mtu akona wake.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. This is Afrimax English. Please remember to subscribe.